Harrell and Shedeur, you're both off. Marcus Mariota, Mike McDaniel tried his best to give Washington that game early Sunday morning in Spain. Mariota gave it back. And Brew, you can go ahead and say it.
Gino!
Yeah, Gino sadly couldn't get back on the mountain. So, quick primer this week. You'll see a lot of red, not a lot of green. It will make sense once we get near the top of the mountain. Bottom row, old guys dropping. Flacco and Rodgers. Yeah. Tua dropping because I watched the game. I also watched the post-game press conference. Guys, Stephen Ross, I think you're a good man. You've done good things in the community. You've also been very successful in business. Maybe consider just paying Tua's fines for him and letting him skip the media from here on out. Just an idea. Jacoby Brissett, that record might last forever.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett might even 47 completions in one game. Norm Van Brocklin didn't do that. Nobody's ever done it. It's going to last. Jameis, it just felt nice to have him back. Yeah,
he was all right.
Yeah, he was all right. It wasn't terrible. Davis Mills is going to get a start again. It was fine. Tyler Shuck had the week off, which is probably good for his ability to keep a spot on the mountain. Sixth row, what a row. I mean, this is just a bunch of show favorites. It's Greg's guy, Daniel Jones, my guy, Caleb, Brew's guy's Purdy, my guy, the Prince, Wilds' guy, Bo Nix, and Wilds' guy, Bryce Young.
I like
Bo Nix feels like your type of guy.
Why?
Quarterback wins.
Why?
Quarterback wins.
There you go. I'm not a Bo Nix guy.
Well, somebody's got to be. You want him? All right,
I mean, I'll take it.
Okay, Brew, you can have him. That's fine.
I want something to be proud of.
But Purdy played awesome. Trevor didn't make any terrible mistakes in the team, and they won. Bo Nix played great. I thought it was, given the circumstance, the best game of his career. And Bryce threw for like 450.
Nice.
And they are in the mix. They're at the very least in the mix.
Yeah.
So here's where the red comes, and it's because we have an entire row vacant coming up. So row 5.
Wow.
I didn't want to drop. I thought Baker played well, and I think Brew would maybe agree. But again, a lot of people had to drop this week. Baker drops, even though he's not the reason they lost. The Jalen Hurts stuff is just weird. The offense is non-functional. They always win. I don't know what anonymous reports to believe or not believe, but the offense in Philadelphia is a problem right now that's being bailed out by the defense. Jared Goff, little cold weather, little wind, little hands, don't mix. Justin Herbert, contrary to what Danny Parkins would tell you, who's doing all these fancy stuff, talking about a stat that's existed for 9 years and then calling it all of NFL history, using a 17-game span to stay on pace to be the most ever. That Herbert, I understand it's never his fault. I get it. He had 80 yards. He had 80 yards, threw another pick. He has to drop. Jordan Love moves up. I thought he actually played well against the Giants. Not great, but played well. He moves up. So here's the deal with row 4. Patrick Lamar and Sam Darnold were all row 3. And go ahead and reveal row 3, guys. I made it vacant because it felt like Patrick Lamar and Darnold all should drop for their performances.
Yeah.
But if you look around, like, none of those guys really felt like it made sense to move them all the way up to row 3. But the mountain tries to be fair. Patrick made an awful mistake in the red zone that might have cost him the game. Had the ball with a chance to either ice the game up 3 or win the game tied in the 4th, and went 3 and out both times. He's got to drop. I thought that was one of the worst games Lamar's played in years. They won despite it, but he's got to drop it. And Sam Darnold, deer in the headlights mode, fully activated, 4 picks, big problem. Dak, on the other hand, played great. So he moves up. Again, these are some MVPs, good row. Row 3 vacant. So row 2, Josh Allen moves up in row 2, or up to row 2 because of the 6 touchdown performance. Drake May played on Thursday night, played well, but nobody could displace Matthew Stafford, who, while the numbers were pedestrian, avoided the critical mistake against what I believe might be the best defense in the entire NFL.
Yeah. Josh Allen clearly deserves to be at the top and above Matthew Stafford. It's not even up for debate. You know, it's interesting because obviously I see that row with like Hurts and Herbert and whatnot, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. But then you do see Mahomes down there, and you're like, all right. And I know I've said this a lot now in these last few mountains, but it just bears repeating. It really goes to show you how in 23 and 24, Nick so heavily relied on the rich tapestry to keep Mahomes at the top, right? And kept leaning on that. And now it's not. And maybe it is because Wilds actually called him out. And, you know, Wild straight up, and Nick even said, "You hurt my feelings, buddy." But it was like, he was being honest. Like, they were obviously kind of joking, but he was also being serious. And Wilds was also being honest because he's like, why should anyone watch this if everyone just knows what it's going to look like week after week? And that's what then kind of gave me the motivation to be like, I'm going to do my own mountain, and I'm going to do specifically just week to week. That way it changes every single week. It's more fun. It's more interesting. And it does give a reason for why people will, you know, tune in. And now it seems like they're just relying on that more regularly, right? Having Drake May ahead of Mahomes, having Josh Allen ahead of Mahomes, like, you just would have not seen that necessarily in like 23 or 24. So that's why it continues to be difficult to kind of like really view this through this lens, because in my mind I'm still so much like rich tapestry, rich tapestry, rich tapestry. And so if we're going to remove the rich tapestry or just significantly minimize it in a way where Drake May can now be ahead of Mahomes, like, by definition, then the rich tapestry has to be pretty non-existent, you know, right? Like, it just would have to be. Jalen Hurts has been better than Lamar. Justin Herbert has been. Like, I would absolutely drop Lamar. Again, you have to factor in who you're playing, your situation here. You know, I think relatively speaking, although I was never as high as everyone else was on Baker Mayfield, you'd have to elevate Baker as well. I'd still be putting Jalen Hurts, you know, above them. Goff has had an interesting season. It's definitely been a little inconsistent. And Herbert's dealing with, like, trying to downplay what Justin Herbert's dealing with. How he's, you know, he's making fun of Danny Parkins about, you know, for him talking about the O-line and how Justin Herbert's on track to be pressured and hit the most in the history of the NFL since it's been tracked. And he's making fun of that. And yet everyone's go-to defense of Patrick Mahomes is, yeah, he got rocked in 2 Super Bowls, but his O-line wasn't good. And to now reduce that for Justin Herbert makes just absolutely no sense. And people will say, yeah, but that was a Super Bowl. And it's like, yeah, Justin Herbert's dealing with it every single game, literally every single game, and he's on track to now be hit and pressured way more than Patrick Mahomes has ever been in his entire career, and on pace to have more drops than Mahomes has ever had in his career, all at the same time. That's insane. The fact that Justin Herbert has even remotely top numbers in the NFL right now is actual insanity. It is so insanely impressive. And to keep downplaying that and not acknowledging that, I just find absurd. And to circle back to Hurts real fast, you know, you're talking about, oh, the offense doesn't look good. To not think that there's been any problems with this O-line as well, since we want to, you know, talk about O-lines, because that's what people are saying about Lamar. Oh, this O-line's awful. That's what I hear a lot of Lamar Jackson fans say. It's like, Jalen Hurts has no run support, no O-line support, a first-time play caller, offensive coordinator, and A.J. Brown, who now can't win his matchups. Like, you people are talking about forcing the ball to AJ or something, or that Jalen Hurts can't hit him or whatever. It's like, AJ's not winning at the line now. Like, that's what's also happening. AJ's not winning. That's just the reality. So we can keep inventing this situation that Jalen has this elite offensive line, this elite receiving core, this elite running back, this elite coach, and all this, and Jalen Hurts is just the only reason why this offense isn't working. It's just insane. It's just not true. And so when you're dealing with that, like, to lower, but again, I think if someone like Nick is willing to drop Mahomes down where he is, it's like, I'm more open to that of Hurts being down that way. But, like, I'm not putting Jalen Hurts below Dak Prescott either. Like I'm you know, Dak had a great game yesterday against the arguably the worst team in the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders. So it's just like, you know, it's a little bit different here. But again, he still has Caleb lower, which I think Caleb should have been should have rose. I know his stats weren't perfect yesterday on Sunday, but I think he played really well. And again, I've said this now in a lot of my Caleb Williams videos. He played better against the Minnesota Vikings than he did against the Dallas Cowboys, even though he put up like nearly 400 yards and I think he had like 4 touchdowns against the Cowboys, whatever it is. His numbers were massive, and it's like he played way better against the Minnesota Vikings in that game, even though his stats were not even a fraction of that. And yeah, you know, I mean, the bottom row, it's like, I don't know what you do with Flacco, Rodgers, Tua, Jacoby Brissett, Jameis Winston, Mills, and Chuck. Like, I don't know. You know, it is cool to see Bryce Young still surviving in the NFL right now. Guy nearly throws for 500 yards, and you're just like, what is this Carolina Panthers team? You know, Bo Nix and this Denver Broncos offense hadn't been playing great. And I have a video where I discussed that some of Bo Nix's numbers are lower than they should be because his drops are also through the roof right now, which is hurt, but he also hasn't been perfect. He also needs to be better, undeniably, but it's just kind of a little bit more heavily weighed. But then in these big time moments, fourth quarter against the Giants, the Eagles, the Chiefs, obviously, you're like, that's big time, you know, like that's big time. That is big time. And so it's just, you know, how do you weigh that? I have not been impressed with Trevor. At this point, I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett over Trevor Lawrence, and I actually sincerely mean that. I think there would be a real argument to make that the Jacksonville Jaguars would be more consistent if Jacoby Brissett was on that team right now over Trevor Lawrence. I said it. And yeah, I don't know. When you have a whole row vacant and you have Mahomes at the, what is it? 1, 2, 3, right on the 4th row next to Sam Darnold, who we know Nick does not think is good. You know, like, this is what becomes trickier because then you're trying to figure out, like, you know, what's the logic going into this right now. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just leave it at that right now. I think Patrick, like, I think I also take issue with having Patrick Mahomes on the level of Dak Prescott. I think all things considered, Patrick Mahomes has played better than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is doing his pretty stereotypical season where he's really juicing the stats against really, really not so good teams. And again, I think Dak has been playing great football. I really do. But when I factor in these tiers and these rankings, I really think about who are you working with? What issues are you going up against? What teams are you playing? How are you accomplishing these things? And Stafford did not look good. You know, Nick saying that event against the Seattle Seahawks potentially having the best defense, and Stafford and that offense did not look good. They did not. And so it's like, oh, you know, that's got to mean something. It's got to mean something to you. So I don't know. We've got some interesting herd hierarchies and mountains, and we'll have the tiers tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know. We'll leave it there for now. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about this quarterback mountain? I was trying to think of something with Stafford staff. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.